This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thanks for getting up with us on this Sunday morning. I'm Tim Gordon. This morning on Sunrise, deputies in Multnomah County are warning of a new drug circulating across the West Coast. A bag of rainbow fentanyl was seized in Portland, a more potent form of fentanyl. Plus, if you saw a string of odd lights in the sky, it was not aliens. Instead, it was the latest launch of Starlink satellites. Why we're able to see them right now. But before we get to all that, let's check in with Daisy Caballero for the quick look at the forecast. Daisy.
Good morning, Tim, and good morning to all of our viewers. I wanted to first start off and let you all know that the National Weather Service has issued a fire weather watch in the areas that you do see here, from up in Washington down into John Day and Burns, all the way from the Dalles as well. So what this means for those that don't know, this is the criteria. So we are going to be dealing with low humidity, 15% or less, with wind gusts of up to 25 miles per hour at times. Now, more specifically for this fire weather watch, specifically the areas that are most heightened for that danger is Blue Mountains and the Walla County area. So they could also potentially see some thunderstorms a little bit later into today, all the way into tomorrow. But again, this will start tonight and end Monday night. So once again, take a really quick look for your area. If you do live in the area, that's the yellowish kind of yellowish orangish kind of color here. And if you do have friends, obviously let them know, and please do not burn whatsoever, because a fire could really get out of control with these current conditions. Tim?
All right, Daisy, thanks a lot. Well, this morning, authorities across western Washington are searching for this man you see right behind me. Investigators say Sean Rose killed two people in the town of Olalla. He's considered armed and dangerous. Investigators believe he is hiding in the Tacoma area, but they're asking everyone across the region to keep an eye out. The victims in this case are Steve and Mina Schultz. Rose was apparently living with his girlfriend next door to the Schultz's property. Kitsap County deputies say evidence collected at the scene led them to Rose, but they still don't know the motive. As the community mourns their loss, a small memorial has been set up outside the Schultz home.
It's been shocking. We are in disbelief that such horrible things could happen in such a beautiful community. Our hearts go out to the Schultz's family, and we want to do everything we can to help them as well.
Now, deputies say Rose also stole a 2018 silver Toyota Prius to leave the area. Again, he is considered armed and dangerous. This is one, if you see him, call 911. Well, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is warning about a new form of fentanyl that has made its way to Portland now. It's called rainbow fentanyl. Experts say rainbow fentanyl is the purest form of the drug. Deputies seized it during a recent search, along with guns, cash, heroin, and meth. The smallest amounts of this rainbow fentanyl can kill you. And what's also troubling, the dye used to color the powder in some cases.
It is a concern. To a little kid, it could look like sidewalk chalk. It could look like a pixie stick. It's extremely dangerous, especially for children. Extremely dangerous.
Now, it's important to note, last year in Oregon, 11 young people under the age of 18 died from fentanyl. That's more than double the number of deaths from 2020. Well, last year in Oregon, on average, 2 people accidentally overdosed and died every single day. That's every day, 365 days a year, or 800 people. Jeremiah Lindeman lost his younger brother to heroin over 12 years ago now. He's since created this online map called Celebrating Lost Loved Ones. Families can go there, post photos, and a description of those who they've lost. The goal is to help put faces and stories to names that can easily be lost in the shuffle.
It's a great vehicle to just help families that have lost people to get over a fear that they feel that their loved ones' memories will just go away and it will be forgotten.
We continue, hoping to break that stigma, tear down that shame, and get those resources out there.
Now, there's also a map for people in recovery to connect with and support one another. By the way, August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. Well, Oregon is now looking for a new leader of the state's troubled public defender system. This week, an oversight panel voted to fire Stephen Singer amidst criticism of what some called an abrasive, combative style. Oregon is the only state in the country that relies entirely on contractors as public defenders. And a report from the American Bar Association this year found Oregon only has a third of the public defenders that it actually needs. Singer was brought in to try and help solve that problem. He criticized the panel's decision and said those who had the most to lose were the clients. This is a complex issue. We have a more in-depth read for you up right now at KGW.com. Well, state land officials are trying to make part of Hayden Island safer and better for the environment. They're tackling drug activity and garbage along one of the riverbanks. As Catherine Cook reports, they're hoping to make a big permanent difference.
On the north bank of Hayden Island, just west of the I-5 bridge, is this 500-yard stretch of Columbia Riverbank. It's somewhat of an anomaly in that the only legal way the public can access it is from the water, say by kayak. But lately, state land officials say there's been a lot more illegal activity here than water sports.
We want the public to be able to pull up from the waterway and use and enjoy the banks over there.
Leanne O'Neill is communications officer with the Department of State Lands. It oversees use of state-owned waterways, including the Columbia.
Our hope is to ensure that we can reduce impacts on the waterway.
For that reason, they're exploring a permanent rule that would ban fires and camping along this stretch between River Mile 106 and 107. The move comes after multiple complaints from law enforcement, emergency responders, and the Portland Harbor Master about illegal activity impacting the health and safety of the waterways. In May, the state approved a 6-month emergency restriction banning overnight use, camping, and campfires. It's a short-term solution to all of the litter, including drug paraphernalia and dozens of abandoned shopping carts. There have also been an increase in complaints over threats of violence and uncontrolled fires. And of course, there's the environmental impact.
Some of the environmental impacts that we consider are erosion. When you're having things that are going into the waterway that introduces more sediment. We're also thinking about contaminants entering the waterway.
Hayden Island is struggling in other areas too. Last week, about a quarter mile from here, this Cracker Barrel restaurant abruptly closed its doors for good. Employees told KGW the restaurant's management called an emergency meeting to announce the closure, telling staff it was due to security issues. Regulars were not surprised, pointing to more drug-related garbage and litter in the area.
Gross. That's the best way to describe it. There's a lot of theft, people on drugs.
Back at this riverbank, land officials say the temporary fix has made things better.
It has helped to reduce those impacts on the waterway. And for this reason, we're looking at enacting permanent rulemaking.
Catherine Cook reporting. Now, the soonest this would take effect is October. If you want to offer feedback, they'll be taking public comment through the end of August. Well, for the second straight night, we got a show in the skies out there. It's all thanks to a cluster of small satellites released by SpaceX on Friday. Now, if you missed it, don't worry. You'll probably get another chance to see this satellite train. Here's KGW's Kyla Boshi.
I got it. Social media was abuzz with excitement and wild speculation after a strange and stunning train of lights moved across the night sky.
It's like a train.
It keeps going.
That's wow, that is the coolest thing ever.
Dozens of people in the Portland area reported seeing something streak overhead both on Friday and Saturday night.
And is it a plane it's reflecting off of something?
It looked like something from a sci-fi movie.
What is it?
Sorry, it's not a UFO. Instead, these are low-orbiting satellites speeding along in a near-perfect line.
We were at the right place at the right time. We were able to see that's what's called train.
Jim Todd, director of space science education at OMSI, explains these so-called satellite trains are a cluster of small satellites just released by Elon Musk's SpaceX cargo rockets. The Starlink satellites will eventually grow dimmer as they move into higher orbits and provide high-speed internet to remote areas on the planet.
For many people, this is the first time they experience it and they see it. And because it's fairly new.
The Starlink satellites are hundreds of miles above us, much closer than traditional satellites, which are very large and orbit far out in space. The bright light is caused by reflections from the sun.
The satellite 10 or 11 are in the sunlight, but you, the viewer, is in the dark.
This isn't the first time we've seen a Starlink satellite train streaking overhead.
Just after 9, slow-moving lights were spotted over western Washington.
In May of 2021, people in Washington and Oregon witnessed a similar sky show. SpaceX plans to launch thousands of Starlink satellites, which means these unusual streaks of light may not be so unusual.
This won't be the only time you're going to see this train. There's more to come.
Well, despite the excitement, some scientists have expressed concern. They're worried the sheer number of bright satellites in the night sky could interrupt astronomical observations. I practiced that word too. All right. Still to come, we're heading way back in time. 100 million years to be exact. Pretty cool story. Researchers rediscovered an extinct insect. Ahead, we'll meet the person who got to name that bug.